And joining me, and thank you, is Matt DuRose from the Mankato Department of Public Safety. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Spence.
Pleasure to talk with you. And we originally had scheduled this, and we'll talk a little bit about the COVID-19 stuff here and the protocols for the city of Mankato. But you guys had an unusual weekend and something maybe you never thought would happen here in Minnesota and in Mankato with the protesting and things that happened over the weekend in town.
Right, we just had a busy weekend at the end or towards. We've been dealing with COVID and that pandemic and that environment for several weeks now, and now to work through some of the protests and demonstrations over the weekend. Just a busy weekend for our officers, but all in all, giving people the safe space to protest and demonstrate and allow for their voices to be heard is really the priority for us. And that was evident on Friday afternoon and into the evening and even into the late night hours, escorting and again, providing that safe environment to provide for people to be able to provide their voice, and some additional conversations on Saturday. And then being able to participate in an event up at Alexander Park. It's a great opportunity for the community to voice, to share their voices. And it's something that we in public safety and public service and city government really need to hear. It's the community that we work for and we work with, and its messages are being heard loud and clear. And there are things that the city and certainly public safety have been working on for years and years, and we're going to continue to work. And it's through times like this that we get to hear those voices and help drive the policy decision making that needs to occur.
Well, it sounds like from everything that I read, you guys handled yourselves quite well on all of those situations throughout the weekend.
We're very proud of the men and women of the city of Mankato, and it wasn't just public safety, police officers, firefighters. We did have help from our public works department in helping close down roads, again, to provide for that safe space for people to demonstrate. But really that comes from the guidance and the leadership of not only the community, but also the city council and our city administration. Really providing that guidance to us. It's a culture that we've been working on in the city organization and about being respectful and being neighborly and really allowing people to have their voices heard.
Do you train for and tell your guys and the men and women that are serving to have a level of patience? Because sometimes these people can get a little angry and say some things, but to stay there and remain calm is another thing. And that takes a lot of, I would think, maybe training and personalities and things like that.
There's a lot that goes into it. And certainly we learn some of those behaviors ourselves at a young age, parents and in our own environment growing up, going to high school and college and learning a law enforcement program, you're learning some of those skills and those abilities as well. But really, once you get on the job and the extensive training program that we have when we onboard people, that's adding into it. But it's just the ongoing training that we're having as well. And we receive de-escalation training. We receive training on use of force and how to use force as a last resort, using our verbal skills. We have a great deal of community resources in the community that are able to help when we're able to deflect people away from the criminal justice system and bring people to the hospital or provide other treatment resources that we didn't have 5, 10, 15, 30 years ago. So it's just those continuing conversations that we're having in the community to be able to provide those resources and the services. And you're right, patience is definitely something that's needed. I've learned a lot more patience since becoming a parent. And so it's things like that just kind of help. And we learn those things. And leadership within the city organization, the city council, our own department, really trying to provide, those examples and really working on the culture to be patient, to listen, to be empathetic, and understand that although we represent something being in uniform, it might feel like a personal attack. But again, it's an opportunity to hear somebody share their experience. And it's what I told the group on Sunday was that we want to hear those experiences that people share with us, that we hear on the radio, that we see in social media, that we see on TV. Those are the things that really help us drive the policy change. And we can't change policy, and we can't do better if we don't hear those experiences and if we don't hear from people. And we're doing what we can to get out there and engage with the community. We have been doing that all my 20 years. on a more and more consistent basis in different ways through neighborhood associations and Night to Unite. Appreciating the opportunity to come on your radio show. I mean, just all those different ways, and we enjoy the invitations that we get to come to community events and speak with different organizations, because we want to hear them and we want them to be able to hear us and have a dialogue through these times and into the future.
Are there protocols in place? Let's say things got a little farther out of hand and you had more people than you anticipated on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. Are there protocols where you can get extra help if you need it? And how does that work?
Right. So we have a great working relationship with our area partners. There's the sheriff's departments and the local law enforcement agencies, and that really goes all around. So if the incident that gets out of hand is in North Mankato or Eagle Lake or St. Peter or wherever it happened to be, we have the ability to provide some assistance to those agencies and vice versa. Right now, the Twin Cities metro area is looking for help, obviously with what's happening up there. But we just don't have the ability to send that help. We have our own community to work with right now, and we're just not flush with resources to be able to send people up there. And so there are those agreements that are made, but it's just it's also one of those things where no matter where the help is needed, we're able to provide that help.
Let's talk a little bit about COVID-19. We have the bars and restaurants back open in limited capacity and outside. What are some of the protocols that you guys are going to be facing with this COVID-19 stuff now?
Well, they're guided by the Department of Economic and Employee Development, DEED, at the state level, and they have guidelines that they need to abide by. No more than 50 people on their patios at a time, 6 feet social distancing, employees wearing masks, making reservations, things like that. So it's a kind of a new world for them. But really what we've been trying to do from the city perspective is as the state has said, allow cities to get creative when it comes to expanding the patios and the outdoor seating. And some of that is extending out into the parking lot farther. It's about extending on the right of way if we can allow it, if it's safe. There are a couple of establishments that have created outdoor seating that didn't have it before. And so we want to help any way that we can in a safe manner to allow some of these places to open back up and get customers back in the seats. And help them get back towards full capacity when that dial gets turned.
Are you going to be closely monitoring some of the bar and restaurant areas? I know the downtown entertainment thing, for example, on a Friday or Saturday night typically gets kind of busy. I don't know if you're going to be keeping an eye on some areas more than others.
Well, it's kind of getting us back to our patrols pre-COVID and how we handled business. For the last how many ever weeks, 8-10 weeks now, we haven't had our foot patrols in the downtown area. We haven't had, things like that. And so we have to kind of get back into that mindset that these establishments are open again. So it's a way to engage with the bar owners, the managers, the staff, the customers that are back out. We have some responsibility in this and some expectation to, again, make sure that people are safe when they're out and about. And that was even before bars and restaurants. And we're tasked with helping businesses establish their occupancy, social distancing and things like that. And so we've learned a lot about social distancing and some of those rules that are in place. Difficult at times for us to enforce and dedicate the resources to. But to this point, we've had some great cooperation from the businesses that we have had some calls on in order to work through it with them. I mean, it's new to them. Nobody has been intentionally spiteful with the governor in rebellion against the orders. But there is some gray to the orders, and it's difficult to operate in that gray world at times.
Are there anything else that we missed? Is there something else we need to talk about that you would like to get out about, COVID-19 or anything this morning?
We're experiencing the pandemic and COVID-19. Just want to make sure that people are out there being safe and sanitizing and social distancing and wearing masks when needed. We are also expecting some severe weather tonight, so we're getting into severe weather time. So just be mindful and be paying attention to the news and listen to the weather. Get out there and enjoy the weather, but please be safe while we're doing that.
Very good. Thank you, Matt, so much for your time today.
Appreciate the opportunity to be on, Spence. Thank you.